really just trying to be a little more balanced, with them doing a bullpen day, and this being more in line with kind of what I've done all year. Like say we're facing a right-handed pitcher, just this is kind of the rollout. But today against a bullpen day, just trying to net an at bat or two that's not a favorable spot for them.
Other questions? Go to Laura. She's in the fourth row.
Heavy bullpen usage and even bullpen games aren't really uncommon in baseball, but is there something about the way the Dodgers do it, whether it's, the variation of looks or the talent level or how these guys are deployed, that you think has made them specifically effective in the playoffs?
I mean, obviously they're very good, right? Not necessarily. I think they had in the last series they had a dominant one and then less of one than maybe the next time. Look, they have a lot of good arms over there, a lot of good talent. Guys that have different strengths, but we've seen that over the years too with the Tampas when they've done it a lot and leaned on it a lot, or other clubs that will go through those situations. We saw with Detroit, a lot at the back end of the year and in their playoff run. So it's not foreign or uncommon in the game, like you said. It creates challenges, but hopefully we can counteract it.
Second row on the left, Peter.
Aaron, about an hour ago, Anthony Rizzo was asked about calling a team meeting before Game 3. I'm interested to know just what has his leadership meant, in the years you've had him, and what's he been like in the clubhouse?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, he's such a gamer. I've used the word a lot the last couple of days, his moxie, with what he's been through on the injury front the last couple of years, and then obviously going through and playing with a broken hand and playing so well. He's just got a knack for, raising his level in the biggest moments. And, the toughness and moxie he's playing the game with right now is admirable and fun to witness. And he's just one of the beloved guys in there. We've talked about the closeness of this group, and he is, one of the leaders of that, and he's been a lot of fun to be around.
Other questions for you? We'll go to Tim in the third row.
What do you hope Jason Dominguez takes from his experience this month?
Yeah, gosh, I feel like he's going to be such a good player. He's missed for being a young man and getting to the big leagues at such a young age. He's also missed a lot of time. So there's always the valuable experience of the irreplaceable value of playing, right? Whether it's winter ball, the in-season stuff, the spring training work you do, but also being around this and being around, veteran great players, seeing how they prepare, seeing how they go about things. He's an important part of that room, and we know his future is incredibly bright, so hopefully the experience that he's gained being around and being in this environment and having to prepare every day, hopefully there's one of those ingredients that serve him well moving forward.
And how has his role in reality this month compared to what you imagined it might be coming into the playoffs?
Well, I mean, a little bit at the end when he came up, kind of, some competition there for an outfield spot. And, he struggled a little bit defensively, didn't totally get it going offensively up here, although I thought he finished really well in AAA and started to string it together like we know he's capable of, and we know that. So there just hasn't been, obviously, the starting opportunities for him where Doogie's kind of taken it and run and what he brings to us defensively out there. So, but that being said, as I tell especially some of the guys that, whether it's pitchers on the roster, whether it's position players on the roster, he may find himself in the box in the biggest moment of the season. And so it's our job to help prepare him as best we can. And I know he's focused and ready to go when his number's called.
Jim up front to your right.
Yeah, Skipper, Jim Hill, KKL9 News. You talked about closeness of your group.
Mm-hmm.
How does the closeness of a group like yours get you through a difficult situation that you're in now?
Yeah. It has all year. We've certainly faced our share of adversity this year, and those guys have never flinched in good times and bad times. And I feel like this is my 7th year now. We've had a lot of what I would think good, strong, close clubhouses. This one takes the cake. I mean, these guys play for one another. And I always feel like if you can find a situation in your sporting life, and for those of you that have played at whatever level, when you find yourself where you can sit down and say, man, I want it for that guy next to me more than I even want it for myself, and have that real feeling, like not just say I want that, but have that feeling, you got something special. And that room has that in spades in there. I mean, it's remarkable to see how close they are, how much they trust one another, how much they pull for one another. And it's served them well as we've gone through highs and lows of the season, and hopefully it'll serve us well, as we're down in this series.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Other questions for Aaron? Barry?
Boone, back to Rizzo. How much do you think his participation in the 2016 World Series with the Cubs and what they went through, that was Game 7 was a very stressful situation, and they all kind of rose to the occasion, both in the clubhouse and on the field.
Yeah, I think I think that's where guys listen to him and pay attention to him. And he does such a good job of striking that balance in these games. And I've seen it all postseason where, you kind of embrace the pressure of it all, but also making sure you're having fun intertwined in that. He does that really good. Like, there's been some really good moments, where, we've lost a lead or given up, in some previous series where, it's like, he'll pause and look around. Isn't this great, guys? Like, appreciate this. Appreciate the opportunity to play in these high-stakes games. And I think he does a good job of helping settle guys and also paying forward, like, and sharing his experience. And guys perk up at that. I just more when I go out to the mound and, we just took a little gut punch within a game, and just how much he embraces that too. Like, this is all part of it, boys. Like, enjoy it. And I think it helps settle guys.
Far back on your right, Tyler.
Boone, like every manager, your moves are scrutinized this time of year, all times of year. When you were a player or a fan or an analyst yourself, where did you fall in that sort of scrutinizing the manager, blaming the manager sort of spectrum? And what's your perspective on it now?
I don't know. I mean, we all have opinions or thoughts about what we would do or should do. It's one of the beauties of the game, but every move, if it works, it was the right move. If it didn't, it wasn't, and that's not necessarily true either. This game is gray and debatable, and, the biggest thing is I want to be prepared to make the best decisions possible for our team. I'm confident that I do that and do it at a high level.
When you watch other games now, other managers, or even other sports, do you try to think along with the coaches and managers?
Sure. But you also never have the full story either. You never have the full context of anything, whether it's in a season, in a playoff series, whatever it may be. So I think being in this chair, you understand that, maybe just casually watching a game, I would have done this, but I don't know everything either that they clearly know.
We'll take a last question from Mike, the third row on your right.
Aaron, from the day Anthony Volpe got here, you've been steadfast in his confidence in his mental makeup and emotional makeup and everything. Just how do you think he's handled his first postseason, and what have you seen in him as far as his for his long-term career, what he's gone through here and what this postseason has.
Yeah, I think
for
he's
him.
been excellent. I looked up and he's definitely hit better than his numbers would even suggest. Like, I think everyone that's watched every one of our games, you see his at-bats game in and game out. They've been excellent. And I think he's grown a lot this postseason. Not surprised by the mental toughness he's shown. And hopefully this is also a little bit of a springboard for him growing on the offensive side of the ball too. I really go back to, his year where, again, a little bit up and down offensively, but I feel like he's made some necessary adjustments that are really going to serve him well moving forward, that eventually are going to take him to another level offensively. I'm even confident that he's made some of those final adjustments or later adjustments, even going into the Kansas City series. I go back to the week leading up to that. I felt like, bam, he did some really good things that set him up for success going into that series, and we've seen really consistent at-bats from him. And I think that's all part of the growing process. His defense has been there since day one, since he got to the big leagues. The offense, I truly feel like we're going to look up in a couple of years and see a really, really strong offensive player. It doesn't always happen in a meteoric rise for some people, but I feel like he's moving the needle in a really good way, and I feel like this playoff is showing that a little bit.